this struggle does not belong to one generation. I have been on this already, and I think we should make this clear every time. This is the struggle of our ancestors as much as it is our struggle and the struggle of the Gen Zs and also the millennials. Because what our ancestors and our grandparents fought for during colonialism, we have not obtained. We don't have our land back. Our sovereignty belongs to us and does not have to be vested on us by anyone, but it's been subverted successively by successive regimes. For we need to get that. We don't have all the freedoms that we assert we have in the Bill of Rights, including the freedom of association, including the freedom to protest. That is why they are shooting at us, including freedom of the speech. That's why the president Ruto keeps attacking us, calling us violent when we are just speaking. Let no one tell us. I would want to encourage us to think also along these lines. Number one, the examples of Russia and South Africa actually can be grouped into one, because those two were armed struggles. So there are two types of revolutions. It's either an armed struggle, which is what happened in Cuba, which is what happened in China during the Mao Zedong revolution, which is what happened in South Africa, what happened in Vietnam, and many other countries, even Mozambique, even Angola, even Zimbabwe. Those are armed struggles. And a lot of these armed struggles were informed by the Communist Manifesto written by Engels and Karl Marx. But there is, in recent history, because of how the world has evolved, popular revolutions. And this is where Bangladesh falls in. This is where the Philippines falls in. This is where Sri Lanka falls in. And the popular revolutions are done on the streets by the people in general, not by a political party or movement, not by any structured, organized group, but just by a large number of people opposed to the existing status quo. And these people are not united by ideology. Like if you ask them on the street, they would not identify a scientific ideology or a philosophical thought that made them to come to the street. If you ask the Tunisians during the Arab Spring, they would not tell you the ideology that made them go to the street. If you ask people in Ukraine when there was the Orange Revolution, why they were going to the street, they wouldn't tell you. So essentially what it is that people are upset, people are disenfranchised, people feel like they have lost their sovereignty, people are suffering through repression and economic hardship, and that makes them go to the street. But between these two sets of revolutionary processes, there is always one thing that is unique. There is a tyrant that is doing these things to the people. So in Cuba, there was a tyrant called Batista. In South Africa, there was a man called Botha and the Nationalist Party. In the Soviet Union, there was the emperor. There has to be a symbol of somebody doing something to the people. If you don't give this opposition that symbolic uh, nature, you will not be able to gather enough people, organize them, and mobilize them towards a goal. There must be somebody to be removed. There must be a system to be removed but symbolized by that somebody. Right now, it is Ruto. That is why I am reluctant to extend this to anybody else, because you have to identify this enemy in a singular manner. That enemy encapsulates everything bad about that system. So when we were fighting against one party rule by Kanu, it was Moi. But Moism was not about Moi the person. It was about what he represented. So I want to finish with Cabral. The material conditions of the people, the conditions under which the people live, is what must inform the struggle, not theory. So it's not the theory of revolution that is going to inform this struggle as such. This is my only disagreement with, or differing perspective with Steve Amenya. That in the end, the hunger that the Kenyans feel because of insecurity, food insecurity, the pain that you feel because you've been abducted and tortured, or the pain that you feel because your relative or friends or whatever are being murdered, the pain that you feel because of the economic conditions that Ruto has imposed on Kenyans, and the insecurity, you don't know when you are going to be kidnapped, and the state of complete lawlessness, where the constitution doesn't matter, the rule of law doesn't matter. These are the things that must inform the struggle, so that we take it from the theoretical and what people may say, things you can't touch, to the tangible. The movement must be organized around tangible things, so that when you talk to the people, they can relate to it. Otherwise, it will become just an academic exercise that the educated engage in, people who have read about revolutions, and then Kenyans will be disconnected to this thing. And without anger, if people are not angry towards the system that exists, and you want to make them angry because of some theory, they will not come. They will not join you. So we must give examples that exist today in Kenya. This struggle does not belong to one generation. I have been on this already, and I think we should make this clear every time. This is the struggle of our ancestors as much as it is our struggle, and the struggle of the Gen Zs and also the millennials. Because what our ancestors and our grandparents fought for during colonialism, we have not obtained. We don't have our land back. Our sovereignty belongs to us and does not have to be vested on us by anyone, but it's been subverted successively by successive regimes. For we need to get that. We don't have all the freedoms that we assert we have in the Bill of Rights, including the freedom of association, including the freedom to protest. That is why they are shooting at us, including freedom of the speech. That's why the president Ruto keeps attacking us, calling us violent when we are just speaking. Let no one tell us that because we are not Gen Zs, this is not our struggle. That's divide and rule. Don't let anybody tell you that CJ Mutunga is not a Gen Z, therefore he should not be speaking. That I, Miguna, am not a Gen Z, therefore I should not be speaking. That's parochialism. That's sectarianism. That's a divide and rule tactic. We must reject it, because our struggles are based on the struggles of the people who are long gone. Each generation stands on the shoulders of the previous one. Without that, there is no need for a struggle, and we can never succeed. So we should get that in our heads and reject these people who are bringing divisive messages and ideas into our heads. We are together in this struggle. we are not divided. As I have said before, they have made messages and they are spreading messages of confusion. Let us not allow ourselves to be confused.